Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for October 10th, 2021, with your host, Peacemaker2448 and Rampant Epsilon.
Hi.
We got a movie! A very short movie, all things considered. It feels weird because A, we've got a movie, B, we don't even really have a movie exclusive form. We just have a movie exclusive writer.
Yeah, that is kind of odd.
I mean, we do have one thing that I guess is movie exclusive, technically, because it is a different suit. But yeah, folks, we are watching, well, we're talking the Den-O movie, Ore Tanjo, or I'm Born. Which, that title doesn't make sense until literally the last 10 minutes of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But debuting August 4th, 2007 in theaters. This was written by Yasuko Kobayashi, who is our normal main writer of Den-O, and a bunch of other writer stuff. Our director, on the other hand, is Tako Nakagishi, who has done a lot of writer. Specifically, he's kind of an old guard director who's been around since Kuga. But he's directed a variety of episodes over the first half of the Heisei era. He also directed Kamen Rider the First. You know, our first attempt at rebooting Rider with Ichigo. And he's done some writing for back in the Showa era. He actually wrote episode 11 of the original series that we watched. That was the one where Shocker tried to combine all the monsters into one and then stick it on Ichigo.
Oh.
Yeah, he wrote that episode.
Yay.
But sadly, he's no longer with us. He passed away in 2013. Due to I'm going to say a neurological condition, because I am not even going to attempt to pronounce what he actually passed away from, because it is a set of words that are going to tongue tie me. It was a neurological condition, but he was credited along with Toru Hirayama in the Kamen Rider Tyson film, since they both passed away in 2013 and that movie came out in 2014. And of course, the continuity of this movie is it takes place during the two episodes we talked about last week.
Yep.
Like, definitively so.
Yep.
So there's no problems with continuity here for fucking once. Yay!
Which, the solo movies, for the most part, there usually isn't continuity issues. It's usually whenever we deal with crossovers.
Yeah, crossovers are where we have all the continuity issues.
I say usually because I feel like we have touched a couple solo movies that were just like super out of continuity.
O's.
Yeah. Felt like there was another one though. I can't think of it right offhand, but
the Decade one? I feel like the Decade one. It's the only one that's
Yes, I think you're right on that.
I was about to say, that's the only one that comes to my mind. Because not Double, not Forze, not Wizard, not Gimes. That's really the only one. But yeah, any thoughts before we get into the movie proper?
No.
All right, then, kick off. We're picking up in progress of episode 27, where the guy and the Imagine are breaking into this big jewelry store, I guess. Or I think it's a mall that this jewelry store is in, because this can't just be one single jewelry store for how tall this building is. But they're trying to steal a necklace, only for Ryutaro and Uteros to intervene, take the necklace, and have this guy chase them to the rooftop as shenanigans ensue with each of the Imagine. Because I think Kenteros does a bit, and then Ryutaros does his breakdancing bit, and we eventually get to the rooftop. I forgot to note down all those bits, if I'm being honest. I'm just like, oh yeah, we went right to the rooftop where Ryutaro and Momotaros are waiting, and they transform into Deno. They fight the Imagine after he comes out. We didn't find out that Momo threw away the necklace. The Imagine got it, threw it in the guy's hands. Contract complete, and then he goes back in time. So we follow them back in time to May 8th, 2000, because for once I feel like actually noting the dates that we go back to, because it's relevant? Question mark? It's relevant enough for a subplot, so they find the Imagine. They end up fighting it, but that gives the opportunity for Gao and his gang to storm the train and take Naomi hostage so they can take over the Denliner, which they do as the other Imagine gets blown up. And for some reason, Ryutaro and Hana leave to walk down a road and then come back. I don't know why. Because the whole fight was next to the train. But when they arrive, the Denliner's taking off. Gao kicks Ryutaro in the head in order to give him amnesia, I guess, for the rest of the movie. So that the plot can work, I guess. But we find out, because after they lock up all of the Imagine, except Ryutaros, who got promised fun times. Therefore, he's left alone. Because I guess they knew better. Also, yay, our goblin child is not helping. Ryutaros, why are you terrible? Ryutaros, be better, please. But, we find out now that Gao's after the God's Train, the Gao Liner, which apparently can access anytime it fucking wants. Without a ticket. Even though they'll use a ticket later to access a very specific time. That might be a problem.
Nah. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah. But with the two of them stranded, they head to the Milk Dipper in 2000, which is currently abandoned because Ryutaro and Ari's parents are currently dead. And Ari hasn't taken over the milk dipper and turned it into the coffee shop that it is. But in the present, we find out that Ari and Ryutaro don't have a picture of their parents anymore because the one picture they had, Ryutaro carried around with him a whole bunch and then he lost it and he couldn't find it. So no picture anymore. They just have an empty picture frame that they hid behind some books for some reason. Why is it behind the books?
Reasons? Question mark?
Fair. Anyway, back in 2000, the two of them make it there. The Imagines manage to get Momotaro's out, and while he's getting out, the two of them run into younger Ryutaro, who's at the milk dipper. We dub him Kotaro later for simplicity's sake. Thank you, Momotaros, for making my job easier. But Ryutaro is suffering from amnesia, so he's all confused. And when Momo tries to possess him, he almost gets it. But then, for whatever reason, Zeke shows up and possesses Ryutaro, so Momotaros ends up possessing Kotaro. And so Hana has to knock the two of them out. And once they're out, and then they're like half sand forms, it makes the boys pass out because spookums. But back over to the Denliner, Gao, with his Infinity Pass, pairs it with Owner's Master Pass in order to access the God line, in order to get the Gao liner, or at least find where the Gao liner is. So, question, because it's also brought up, I believe, in this scene. How many trains has he hijacked? Because they say he's a train thief. Specifically a time train thief. How many trains are there?
I mean... Maybe he's just starting?
No, they say he's done this before, and Owner's like, it's a good thing we haven't ran into this guy yet. And I'm like, how many trains has he hijacked at this point? How many trains are in service to this? Does that mean there's like 40 Deno-esque riders out there? Also, since Owner has the Master Pass thing, which, you know, works with a belt, does that mean Owner's a rider?
I mean, I feel like I would like that.
True. Because I'm like, wait, you've got a gold one of those. Do you have a gold just Deno belt? Are you technically a rider? But anyway, Gao gets on the line and starts heading that way. This is when Yuto drops by the milk dipper to pick up the gang, and the two Imagine possess the boys to get them to go along because we got shit to do. Yuto forces himself onto God's line because we've got no better options. Unfortunately, they landed ahead of the Denliner instead of behind it. So they're immediately attacked and thrown into a different time period. I assume the past of some degree from where we relatively are in the movie at the moment. But Gao and the Denliner arrive. He hops out, goes to his rider form, which is just Kamen Rider Gao. I don't know why he's crocodile themed.
They don't either.
But he fights Yuso, beats him up. They shoot the Zero Liner and throw them all further back in time so they can go do their thing. They end up back in the Age of Dinosaurs, and Momotaros is in his full form outside of the train because his bond with Ryotaro got broke because of the amnesia. Therefore, he gets his full form, which doesn't make sense, but okay. Shouldn't that be the opposite?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, now that I think about it, he technically did complete a contract. Because he's possessing Kotaro at the moment, right?
I mean...
Well, he was possessing Kotaro when he went on the train. Kotaro wanted to go on a time-traveling train.
True.
And they went back in time, therefore that's a contract complete, I guess. So that's why Momotaros is in his full... I don't know why I'm trying to explain this when the movie threw away something that didn't even make sense to explain it. The point is, Momotaros is in his full form, and the rest of the Imagine will be later. I guess just because we want a fight scene with them. Anyway, he bonds with little baby Ryotaro. Yuto makes repairs to Zero Liner, and they head through time, and shenanigans ensue with Momotaros and gang as they make their way to Gao. But we see that Gao's reached where the Gao Liner is. It is currently buried in a mountain back during feudal Japan. And he's got some lord working for him, so you can have a bunch of ninjas to help him get the train out of the mountain. I assume it's stuck in this one exact time period, right? Because wouldn't he be able to access it at any point past this time period?
You would think.
Yeah. But our team makes it to the town. Yuto drops them off and heads out because he's got to go get backups. Cue all those times we saw Yuto in the other 3 episodes from last week. That is where he's been, where he's going to be for the rest of the movie. But while in town, Seed leaves Ryotaro because he wants to go take a nap. And then they're attacked by ninjas. And the gang has to defend themselves. And I do like that Hana got a few swings in before Momotaros is like, all right, we need Deno. Tries to possess Ryotaro. Doesn't work. Tries to possess Kotaro. Does work. Therefore, we get Tiny Deno. We get Mini Deno, as it's officially dubbed. That will be used later for Pretty Deno. For some weird reason. I don't know why we have small child Deno suit. Because it's only for this exact one fight scene. And then it's done. But they fight him off. They hold up there for the night before they try to go get the den liner back. Bobo talks to the boys talks to the boys, tries to get Rita to remember him, doesn't work, so he leaves. The boys bond over, not having the photo anymore, and parents and family and stuff. But eventually, Hana calls the Momotaros, who's hanging out on the roof, and is just like, we need to take care of this before the boys. And I do like that Hana's just like, he's an idiot, but he's the only other option we have. So the two of us will go fight. I really wish we got female Den-O with Hana instead of mini Den-O, to be honest.
I mean, yes.
Because why can't Momotaros possess Hana? Why possess small child? Wouldn't Hana work as well?
Yeah, maybe not, though.
I mean, true.
The only reason I said that is because of the contract kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. I really want this dumb thing that might not even be true of, I want to see Hana as Den-O. I need to see this alternate timeline. But the next day, because the boys interrupt them and they all go in together. So the next day they try. And as they're going in, randomly a princess from a local part is getting brought in, and I think she's being played by Hana's actress. So they pull the whole, switch places with her, therefore we get an in and you can go get the den liner and then we'll cause a distraction. So they do exactly that. And meanwhile, in the den liner, they're all left alone. So Owner gets a toothpick from Naomi and breaks the Imagine out. Because all it took was him throwing a toothpick at a wall. Owner, how strong are you?
Very.
Apparently. So at this point, everyone's fighting off the ninjas. I'm pretty sure Momotaros kills at least two of them because he yeets two of them off a fucking cliff. I'm also pretty sure Ryotaros does kill a few as well because he's just using a big ass gun. Because this is the first time we see all four of the Imagine's own weapons. Which are the same, well, they're the same style of weapons they use in the rider form, so it's nothing too surprising. But eventually Ryotaro is cornered by one of the Imagine, and Seek takes the pass from Kotaro. And Go possesses Ryotaro to become wing form, and they kill it, and all the ninjas get ran off. So, hey, we can get the deadliner, everything's fine! Until Gao snaps Seek from behind and breaks Den-O wing form. So Gao and his Imagine show up. They just take the Gao liner now because they just blow it out of the mountain and just take it. And they also take Ryotaro after scanning one of the tickets on his head. And then they decide to go back to December 26, 1988, which is Ryotaro's birthday, to go blow up time because you might be a singularity point, but if you don't get born, it won't matter. Which, to be fair, you could just kill him, and it would just solve your problem.
Yeah, but it's baby Hitler mentality.
True. So they go back with Ryotaro in tow. Momo manages to catch onto the train as it leaves. Everyone else has to give chase in the deadliner, but they are behind. But when they arrive on time, the Gao liner just blows up the whole town. And Gao just throws Ryotaro onto the ground, just being like, well, you're going to disappear at some point, I guess. Have fun. And then the Imagine beat up both him and Momotaros until Ryotaro's like, I remember Momo now. Let's go beat him up. And they try to fight their way until Yuto shows up with backup in the form of, hey, I went and grabbed 3 of your past selves and let the Imagine possess them because this is plan B, I assume.
Or it
That
was
will
plan A and this movie was plan B?
I guess. So we get all 4 Ditto forms transforming at the same time. And plus Yuto, they go beat up the Imagine. They all go boom while Momo's dealing with Gao. The Imagine are easy enough to take down. Gao, on the other hand, fucking levels all 5 of them. Because he is stronger than all 5 of them put together. I will also point out...
I kind of want to point out, how many cards has Yuto used this movie?
2 or 3, I think.
So I feel like this is going to be the plot point as to why we have a wrong count for the cards, because it's going to have something to do with the time travel in this movie.
It wouldn't surprise me. I figured I'd check the wiki and see if they had a count. They don't.
I'm willing to bet they probably realized really quickly that that was not a smart idea, and we might toss that out the window, which I'm fine with.
But they do counts and shit this for other shows.
Yeah, but they usually do more realistic counts.
Right.
Or at least in Dan's case, you know, memeable ones. Because of course someone that thinks he's God would have 100 lives.
Yep. But yeah, I also want to point out that Yuto has tagged in Deniv at this point, so they are in Vega form. But it knocks all 5 of them down. But Bobo's like, I got a plan! I'm gonna do a finisher! And tries to hit him with the finisher, but it misses, and he takes the sword to the gut. But Bobo's like, that was the plan! And then just smacks him with an uppercut with the sword. Because he just held him in place for it. I do like that he points out of, I told you it was a special version! You should have listened! Like any of his finishers have been any different until now.
I mean, do you even really count this one as different?
Not really. Granted, that is the bit.
I mean, to be fair though, they all actually have been different. He has said different things every time.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the move itself was the same doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah. But this forces Gao to retreat to the Gao liner. So they all hop in the Den liner and the Zero liner and combine trains into all their CG modes. So they go and fight the Gao liner for a little bit in a CG battle. And eventually they just skewer the Gao liner just straight through from head to tail. And it goes boom. So Momo and Gao have one last duel. They trade sword slashes and Gao goes kaboom. Therefore, time is fixed because everything gets restored. And this movie also keeps reiterating that time is people's memories, which, if I recall correctly, is technically a plot point from the show, eventually.
So, question.
What?
Is there a true name for the super train combo that we got?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
The Den Zero liner.
Or the Zero Den.
Well, I say Den Zero liner because Den O, instead of O, it's Zero. Therefore, Den Zero liner. I know, dumb pun, but But yeah, when I will say this, when Yuto says that time is people's memories, in Deno's case is a little literal. A little.
Also, I seem to recall that the same sentiment actually gets brought up in the Geo movie.
Uh-huh.
The only issue I have with that is that would entail that Geo, actually set up rules for its time travel beforehand.
Look, what it did is it co-opted Deno's time travel and tried to pretend it was its own, and then was bad at it.
Halfway through a season that they already had screwed up.
Yes.
Can't forget that part of it.
Yeah.
And that's what's bad.
Mm-hmm.
When that line came up, I immediately was thinking, I have a funny feeling that we're gonna actually be able to act upon that here, unlike Geo.
Mm-hmm. We'll get there eventually. I wish I could remember the episode they explain it in. But with time reversed and the damage undone, they start to drop everybody off. But Hana's like, "Owner, can we go get their picture, please? I know it's breaking a rule, but please." And the boys are like, "No, it's fine. We don't need the picture." And lo and behold, they happen to pass by their parents as they're taking the kids. I think it's actually that day when they're just taking Ryotaro home for Christmas. But everyone gets dropped, and we end with Ryotaro back at the Milk Dipper. Only this time, the frame actually has a picture in it. It's a hand-drawn image of their parents with baby Ari and babyer Ryotaro. And since it's in crayon, I assume Ryotaro's drew it. Because I don't know who else would have drew it.
True.
And that's Ori Tanjo. And half the time it takes to watch this movie. Because like I said, it is not a long movie. And there's not a super whole lot going on.
The big thing that I'm hoping is that we don't have the recurring theme of, for most of our villains, it's just, I want to blow up time.
Yeah.
Even if we have just a little bit of reasoning behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, I'm like, the whole way through, I'm like, we really don't have a premise as to why he's wanting to do this, do we?
Nah, he just wants to blow up time and just fucking chow down on big chunks of food. Because most of his scenes, I'm pretty sure, he has some big chunk of food that he is shoving into his face.
Yes.
Whether it's just this big honkin' turkey or chicken or just a handful of owner's rice that he's just grabbed and just went, harm. And I'm like, why? What is it with you and manhandling food? But yeah, it's fine. It feels weird for us to watch a movie with no movie exclusive form, just a movie exclusive villain who's not that interesting. Doesn't even get that much fight time either. He gets like what, 2 fights?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fine.
It almost felt more like this was a overextended episode as opposed to a movie.
Yeah, which
that's not really a bad thing. But thinking about how it would have went while everything was airing live kind of deal, it would have felt weird. Because then it's a case of if you didn't get to go watch the movie, you were just partially lost and or spoiled going into the next episode.
Yeah. I wanted to double check because usually the Rider solo films are double billed with the Sentai solo film of that year. And this year it was double billed with the Geki Ranger movie, and I was like, I wonder if the Geki movie's longer. It's 33 minutes. It is quite literally a special episode. I was thinking, maybe they just put the time into the Sentai movie. Nope. Nope. It was just an hour-long movie and then a 30-minute special, so... I guess... Oh, well.
Could be worse.
We've seen worse Rider movies. But hopefully next week we'll be back with more Deno. Keep an eye on Twitter and stuff for an update on that. I explained why yesterday, so. But definitively between now and then, Thursday will be me continuing Dread, and Friday will be us continuing Four Swords. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Check out the affiliate go at Jesus on Twitter. Good stuff. Thanks for my life. Exclamation point Discord and chat. Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. See you Thursday, folks.